Hey guys, it's me again, just another gamer, and as per usual, every Monday we'll be doing on the exclusive summoning reviews, especially on the reset. And then let's see what we have today. And I know this video is like late, like the stones have already resetted like around 5 hours ago, so this will happen for next week too. But the week after it'll be okay, everything will be back to normal, and then I could actually do more videos right after that. So without much further ado, let's carry on with the summoning. No, just a review, but not the actual one. Okay, so this week, yes, this week seems rather nice. We have quite a fair bit of stuff that even you and me will actually want it, such as the Zyros and also the Galleon. So, okay, and then I'm actually looking out for this Fire Horus, which has this skill which is based on its defense, and it actually has a defense buff, and then this defense buff is actually based on this defense buff also decreases the chance of receiving critical hits. So actually I'm quite looking forward to building this guy if I get one. Then if you guys need a revival, we have two here, which is Platty, the Fire Mermaid, and then Brienne, the Wind Death Knight. And for the net 5 we have a support one. Oh, this is actually considered HP, so I will call it a support because of this skill, the third one, which actually equips a shield and then grants immunity for 3 turns. Yes, 3 turns is rather long. Other than this, it will be Veladrua who has the 3 turns on immunity. I'm not sure on this, the cooldown for this Wish of Immortality. Then, oh yeah, the first skill actually based on HP, which is quite a good thing, which could actually look out for. Then the second skill, yes, it's unlike Ramagos. This is actually like, okay, the amount of HP you lost will increase the attack power of this skill, but it won't do exactly damage as per how much you lost. So it's like a multiplier here and there. You could actually critical damage this guy. I've seen one before. It's like a HP, crit damage and attack, and it can hit rather high. I think there's 30k. I'm not sure about anything higher else. Maybe if you have better wounds, you could actually build one. Then for the Galleon, yes, everybody want a Galleon. Then Water Ninja, you guys could use it for diffusion for I believe with Sigmarus. Yup, or else he'll skill up one. This Water Ninja actually is rather a high base attack among all the the water net force. I think it's almost the highest unless you compare it with Sigmarus, but Sigmarus is actually like a pure nuker whereby you won't really wound much speed. Whereas this ninja actually can wound quite a fair bit of speed, and this second skill, which will reduce the bar by 30%, actually is only the cooldown of 2 turns when max. Quite a good farming rep actually. Could use this for like the Faimon Hell or even for Furon Hell, the Furon Castle Hell. Yep. Then okay, I'll bench through a net 4. So the net 3s you could actually build will be Copper, and you can pair with this guy, the Fire Horus. Then Fire Serpent is one of the fusion food, I think, for Beretta, together with this Water Magical Archer, if I'm not wrong. And then you could actually have this Water Golem, which is also another fusion material. Water Minotaurus, nah, I don't think so. Then for if you are actually building Copper, you can actually build with this guy, and at the same time you could actually consider, no, I mean you only build either this guy or the Fire Horus for Copper, because having 2 of the buff will not be that really needed. Then the Wind Harpy is also, I think it's before Arang, the Wind 9 tiers, which is on next week. Okay, then Green Reaper as usual will be going for either the water or the dark one for like skill up, and even for the light one. But it's just not the... Okay, the fire one wise is also okay, whereby you can actually use it for farming rep because it has 2 CC skills. And then for... Yep, I think we're done for that week. So what we have next week would be... Wait, let me just scroll down to here. Yep, so we won't scroll down anything further. So next week we have is Perna. Perna, I mean, in next... Net 5s really don't need much introduction, that's why I suddenly touch on them. Then the Wind Pioneer, which is Punk Break, which has this skill whereby if you kill one enemy and then you will actually use this skill again, but then of course your skill will be on reset. Cool. Yeah, I mean you still reset your skill. Then it has actually a critical rate leader for 24%, quite good as a nuker, but defense wise, I seldom see this guy in defense. Then the first skill is the same as the water pioneer. Actually, I mean all the other pioneers, whereby this skill it has a 15% chance to make the enemy asleep, and this skill is actually based on HP, which you guys could actually look out for this skill. But then again, this will actually conflict with the third skill because this is based on attack, whereas this is based on HP. Then the second skill, I believe, is also based on HP. No, I mean the attack. So most people will actually wound this with like a attack, crit damage attack with some HP or speed subs, either one, because you can't have the best of both worlds. So okay, then we will proceed on to Water Hell Lady. I'm not very sure about this guy, so let's go through this guy. Okay, this skill Eternal Scar, which will decrease the enemy defense for 3 turns and the HP for 3 turns, and if you max this, I believe it will go down to 3 turns. So you could actually have a permanent defense break and also a HP disturbing HP. So what I like about 3 turns is that other than you having a Veramos, 3 turns actually is quite irritating, whereby unless you have a cleanse such as Veramos or a Navier or Delphoid, etc., even Konamiya I think can be also something quite good lately. So yes, actually I think cleanse and immunity is really on the rise for battles nowadays, be it your AO, your AD, your GO, your GD. So this is a AoE, and damage will be increased by 50% if target enemy is suffering from a continuous damage. So if you were to pair this guy, assuming that you remove all the buffs, you will actually want to have somebody to do a dot or mass dots to all enemies. Then you will do this second skill, but I mean there are still many other units out there which could actually use a third skill, like example Lucian, or even I think Clara isn't that bad also, the Fire Pire. Then other than that, Julie, I mean you gotta check the multiplier and the attack, and then you see whether will this gouge be stronger than the other one, because you'll be giving up attack for one of the guys. Example, you need a setup whereby it could probably be as simple as a Beretta, then you do a Galeon, then you do this skill. I mean, it could be this kind of setup. And the first skill, yes, this first skill also does a dot, which I mean, first skill is just for not really on the side of dots, but just hitting while waiting for other skills to be on cooldown. And then if I think for these Hell Ladies, the skill attack would be like the cooldown would be like 1 turn, 2 turn, and 3 turns. So actually it's rather fast for the attacks. And the second skill is a CC. So every 2 turns you will CC the guy, keep on doing a CC. So you need to have the dots quite permanently there. Or maybe you just dot the Valmos and then you just kill it with Eternal Scar. Then you do a Valmos and just keep on dotting everybody else, and then you just kill it off with the second skill, which is a 50% increase in damage, which I don't think it'll be that bad if you pair it up with your Gaiden. I mean, I don't think it'll be a Gaiden stuff here, unless you see it's a Lucian. Then if a Lucian there, then it will definitely be a different case scenario whereby you just need attack buff. Okay, so for notable net force, we have would be this has a branding skill, and the third skill is actually when you kill the guy and then prevents it from reviving. Attack is an attack type, but I've heard that this guy's attack isn't that good. So, but I think it's still better than Mawa, the Dark Amazon, because this guy is a net 4, so his damage and stats should definitely be a little bit higher as compared to Mawa. Then we go for then Verdihu is here, whereby it's the guy which increases your buff for like Dragon's B10 and every other dungeon. Even for I don't think anybody use for Giants, could probably use for TOA, which I do not know when it's coming for me. So Antares, the Fire Leech, has this new buff whereby if you actually gain the extra turn using this skill, not through violent, you actually gain attack power and crit rate. So which means that this guy can actually go like many turns, because you have a 15% and then 22%. If like the 22% is used up, which means it's the violent, then you hope for the 15% will work. Then your cooldown will actually be, the percentage for your violent will actually be reset. So yep. Then the second skill is Sinkhole, whereby you can actually heal up So if you pair this skill, then to this skill, the your this sinkhole is a AoE which actually does quite a good damage, which will actually do quite. It could work. It could work. And then the first skill is actually a hit the target for 2 to 3 turns. I tried this out. Yes, it's 2 to 3 turns, and then each attack has around 40% chance. When you max it, this is like around 75 or 85%. So it's actually considerable, whereby you have 2 to 3 times hit for using this guy for the Necropolis. And then the Necropolis, this skill wise, which only hits once, as compared to the water one and the wind one, which hits multiple hits, which is not quite widely tested, so we do not know exactly on how many hits this would do. So actually absorbs the enemy attack gauge by 15% with 15% chance for each attack. So this guy is like a double-edged sword if you use this guy for Necropolis, because if this thing and Violent keep proccing, you could actually just lose your units. Then it will keep healing up. So it could be a double-edged sword. Then Julian, yeah, Julian is rather squishy, but it's like a stun machine. Because this skill is on stun 3 times for all. This has a 30% additional critical rate, and it will stun the enemy if it lands as a critical hit. So if you don't really need much, it's quite a good stun machine. I used this before, but not anymore. So this is just the basic skill of all the Phantom Thief. Then Arang, most of you guys will be using for the fusion. Yup, I believe so. Or else you could try this guy out for Necropolis, because 3 hits, 1 hit, and 1 hit which actually decreases the attack power, speed, and the defense for 2 turns. So it could be of some use, and this multiplier is rather high. And it comes with a Wind Leader skill. Necropolis wise, I'll touch on it probably sometime later, but not now. Then, okay, so for the net trees we have for fusion would be the, I believe it will be the Wind Bearman, if I'm not wrong. Then the Wind Lizardman. Then the Water Griffin. And then, okay, this guy probably for Iona and Chloe as per usual. Then Fire Artist, not really. Then yes, so here's the Fire Green Reaper, which I mentioned earlier. So you could refer back to the one earlier the past week whereby I mentioned about the Green Reaper. Then this actually could be used for Necropolis. This move for 3 turns. This is for 2 turns. Yup, 2 turns. And then wait, what is this? If both target of them hit, stuns the enemy if both of them hit the same target. Wow, that is quite. If you have only just one enemy left, it's also known as a stun. Then for the last hit, it's actually 4 to 6. Each attack has 20% chance to reduce the attack speed for 2 turns. It's rather also good for Necropolis, probably. Yep. It hits quite a few times. So okay, then in 13 days time, which is 2 weeks time, what we have is Ariel. He's the best or most of the notable form of healing. Then Rika, which would be quite good for TOA because he has the decreasing of speed, and then if the enemy is less than 30% HP, this attack is actually a critical hit. Then the second skill is actually stunning the enemy with 50% chance, which if you max this, I guess it can reach 2 turns. This will actually help you a lot in TOA, and the first skill is putting the enemy to sleep. So if you combine these 3, all these debuffs are rather good for TOA. Then okay, we have here the Orion, which actually remove beneficial effects or even inflict various harmful effects, which is quite good, and also increases the bar by 30%. Another good thing about this guy is that his second skill will actually decrease the defense of the enemies for 1 turn, and this attack will actually land as a crushing hit regardless of the enemy's attribute. This is rather good thing to use up for. And the first skill actually gives you a 30% chance to gain another turn. So if you guys use this with Violent and the last skill, which I believe it will become a 3 turns, this is quite a deadly skill then. Yep. Then if you guys are using for this Water Sliffit, yes, Water Sliffit, this guy can actually be used for Dragon's B10 as a solo for start, but it will take quite some time. So you got the left right tower. Then you gotta build this guy with resist, defense, HP, and also of course some speed, or else you get eaten up by all the dots and damage by the dragon. But I don't think it's 100% if, like, example, if the boss were to like not deal like glancing for 3 turns and then you have your dot stacking on you, you could actually probably lose the match. Yup. And then yes, here we got is the wind leech. So let me touch on this skill. It's similar to one of the water one, but the water one which will turn this skill into freeze, whereas the wind one will actually turn the slow into a stun, which, I mean, stun is way better, cause when you get stunned, your skill cooldown will not be reduced by 1, you'll still be there, which is more irritating. And then this skill actually has a defense break and 35% chance, which is also quite a good thing to look out for. And you could try this guy out for Necropolis too. The first skill is, like I mentioned, for Antares, the Fire Leech. Then if we move on, which will be Beretta. Beretta is, I mean, you can just watch my TOA videos whereby I always will touch on this guy. Then Yen, yes. If you guys are building a Necropolis team, I think this 2 weeks time could actually be quite useful, because you got Yen, which can actually slow the enemy, and then it has this attack 3 times and actually lands a dot. And then if you pair up with this skill and with Violent, then you add in with the Wind Leech, actually it's rather a good skill, a good lineup for. But then you gotta remember on, yeah, I think it's quite a good lineup I can think of. So for the net trees, you have this Wind Inferno, and the Wind Amazon, and the Fire Werewolf, and the Water Inugami. These 4 are, is it 4? Yep, I think it's all these 4 which will be used for the fusion food. Then for Griffin, yes, you could actually do either this or the Spectra, the fire one. Even the dark one is also rather useful, because he actually just stuns the enemy if he lands as a critical hit. Yup. Then the rest wise, if you guys got a Basalt recently, here's your Battle Mammoth, because I know that summoning for Battle Mammoth is very hard. So you could try this guy out, maybe. Then maybe you can hope for either like Orion, this guy, or Beretta, Fuko, or even Yen, or of course the net 5s. Yeah, I think I did not touch on Leo. Yeah, we touch on Leo now. So Leo actually, this passive will actually stop cap all the speed to his, and he'll move first. So even no matter how fast your Chloe is, like maybe 200 over speed or 250, even this guy does not have any speed, or maybe when it's awakened it's 100 speed, this guy will still move before Chloe. Yep. And then this second skill actually, when it makes, I think it reaches 2 turns cooldown, and it actually ignores defense, so it's rather quite a hard hitting skill, but you gotta play well with your HP, because 30% is quite risky. Alright, and then this first skill is, if you get critical hit, you actually land a continuous damage. So try to maximize these guys critical hit, critical rate of course, because for the first hit and the second hit, because 2 turns dodge is rather good. Then let's have a look at the new week. Okay, let's see. So we got Camilla. So Camilla, yes, well known for this skill, which is 33% in the critical rate for allies in the arena. Then the second skill is first aid, which is very irritating. Usually how I deal with Camilla, which would be either you nuke it down, whereby hopefully hope that it doesn't get too strong. So I will just nuke this guy down with Thessalion, or else I'll be using the Tilmas or Ritash. Yup, or else, yes, this second skill is actually based on, it's actually based on the enemy HP, and actually decreases speed for 2 turns. Even I'm learning something every time I look through their skills. So for the first skill is, if you kill somebody, this second skill will be activated. So, and we got Rakan, which will be, this skill would be like, I think 3 turns cooldown. So we put a Will and Violent for this guy, because you can start the match and then have a permanent immunity all the way. And nowadays the skill is rather quite activated on this Unleash Fury for the first turn. So Zeratu and all the Rakan out there, you guys gotta watch out a little bit when dealing with this. So the third skill is actually based on HP, but the first skill is actually based on the attack. So you gotta mix a little bit or just go pure HP with of course critical rate and critical damage. And it has a good 50% HP additional for fire attributes. So you do this with Chloe, then Chloe will have another like around 6k or 5.5k more HP or 5.6k. Yup. Then Edna is something close to what the Water Hell Lady, which will be this skill will be 1 turn, 2 turn and 3 turn. But the second skill is actually a mass defense break. Whereas the third skill is as the enemy's HP decreases after the attack, so the chance of enemy being stunned will actually increases. Wow, actually that's quite cool. But of course, you will probably kill the enemy with this skill because I've seen many of these, which is quite good and hard hitting. Okay, so for the net force that we have, which be Mikin, the Water Undine or Undyne. So this guy, I believe high chance we're using for Vamos or the, I believe Katarina. Yes, Katarina, you need an Undyne. Then for this is quite close to what you could actually pair this guy up. This Water Horus, you could pair this guy out with the Katarina because you could actually grant your whole party with attack power, critical hit, critical rate, and then you make one target invincible, just one target, okay? Then for the second skill is decreases the attack bar and also the speed. Oh, actually that's quite nice. And the damage of this skill increases according to your attack speed. Oh, so you wound this guy with like crazy amount of speed. So you could actually benefit from this being moving first, and the second skill which actually based on your attack speed. First skill wise, or you just reduce enemy's attack bar, which is also quite good in like because you can actually steal more turns with this. It's just like how the Galen is being used for the second skill. Then if you guys need a Hua, yes, Hua is really quite a good unit to use for TOA, be it like hard or normal. For progression, yes, also you will need this guy. Then it's more notable is for this Burning Whip skill, whereby it decreases the attack bar of the enemy for 25% chance for each of the attack, and then at 20% chance it will strike again. So you're actually having like, if you use this Burning Swing and actually proc on this 20%, you will be using your Burning Swing twice, and you could actually land 2 times of the continuous damage for 3 turns. 3 turns is really quite a lot. And the first skill will be attack speed reduction for 50%. Yep. And this damage is actually based on attack speed. So yep. So you could just wound her like a crazy speed and you just irritate the opponent crazily. Then for Fire Assassin, I've not looked at this. Okay, I looked at this skill before. This is actually the branding, which is 2 turns, I believe, when it's max. 3 turns, 3 turns, yes. And then actually this is quite good, whereby you have 2 attack twice, and each of them has a 50% chance to leave a brand for 2 turns. So the enemy will receive whatever kind of damage, you will actually receive another 25% chance of the additional damage. So this is quite good. Whereas for this, okay, let me see, decreases the damage that all other ally monsters receive by 15%. So I believe this is something close to Darien, and decreases the recovery amount of every monster on the battlefield by 50%. So you could actually try this guy out. If you have a Chasun, you will probably want to do with this because your heal will be, I know it will be half, but you have the Fallen Blossom. Yup, but of course don't use it on like enemies Chasun, but worse you don't have a Chasun, so that it doesn't look so feasible doing that way, right? Even for those with like Lumirisha, the Water Sylphid, I don't think you'll be able to heal max because you'll be capped at, you'll be have only a 50% of the effect. Then what else we have? We have Orochi, which could be helping out for progression for early players for dragons, no, not dragons, the Giants B10. So it's quite a useful unit because it shows 6, and then for each critical hit, and of course you need accuracy, you will deal like around 6 dots, but then this dots is only for 1 turn. So which will also mean that you deal 30% damage to the Giants B10. Imagine you just have like 3 of these guys and all 3 use this skill on the Giants B10. I guess the guy is probably dead, but you can only stack a maximum of 10 dots on the enemy. So okay, we'll come to the last part, which will be the net trees. Net trees wise, we have a fire beast hunter, which we'll be using for the Kia, which will be the fire succubus for Varamos fusion. Then the fire magical archer, which I think is Beretta. Then water golem, which I mentioned earlier, which is for somebody. I'm not so sure. Then if you're using a living armor, you could actually use this for skill out for copper. Then water lizard man, yes, nah, not really. Unless you're doing this for skill outs for I don't know who, other than maybe like lizard man, if you guys have been watching. Then yep, I believe that's all that we have for this week. And then it's not that I'll be summoning my scrolls on the most likely it'll be on Friday, be early, maybe like around 12 a.m. on Friday. Yup. Then the video will be up probably after that, or if not latest in the morning. Then anything else, then I will see you guys probably on Friday. Yup. So if you have any other questions to in regards with the fusion or the other, if you need a more like a more precise or more detailed explanation for the mobs, just leave it a comment below and I will do a type up review for it. So if anything else, then I will see you guys on Friday. Alright then thanks for watching and goodbye.